All right, everybody, welcome back to the best damn training channel on YouTube. I am amped up. Had me a considerable amount of Death Wish coffee this morning. So if you don't know, Death Wish coffee is a very highly caffeinated type of coffee. And I had a healthy dose of that this morning. Try to get myself ready for today's sprint session because I want to sprint my ass off today. I want to be fast. So I'm feeling good. Warm up felt really good today. Felt light, felt a little bit bouncy on the legs. I'm hoping that translates over to some good, competitive, fast-ish times today on the sprints. So we're gonna start off with fly float flies like we've been doing for the past 5 weeks. And we're gonna do the 10 meters hard, 10 meter float, 10 meters hard. So 30 meters total, starting out of our 3-point stance. And then after we do the fly float flies, we're gonna be doing a 30 meter fly. And in that 30 meter fly, we're gonna start off with a 15 meter build into a 30 meter upright all out fly. Try to see what some numbers are on that. So I'm gonna lace them up, set the timing eyes up, put the chip on, pop the top, and get the sprinting. All right, so 3 fly float flies are done. Started off 397, went down to a 396, and then ended on a 390. And the biggest discrepancy on this is just that 0 to 10, which isn't too surprising given the fact that this is like my first real hard sprint session in about a week and a half. But I would say that my normal 0 to 10 range is right around like mid 160s, 163 to 166 is what I've been hitting like my better repetitions on. On the first rep here, I was at 172. On the second rep, I was at 172. And then on the third rep, I got it down to 164, which is where you see that difference in that time going from a 396 down to a 390. So I was able to clean up that 0 to 10 a little bit. But in terms of the fly zones, my fastest was 21.93 miles an hour, or 102, which is very close to what my fastest 20 to 30 has been on these flies. I think I got down to like a 1 flat as my fastest one there. So being at a 102 is a good place to be right now. Fly float flies felt good. Like the way that everything's moving right now. I still feel fresh. I still feel good. So that's the big thing for today. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna move the cones around and we're gonna do a flying 30. I'm gonna start off 15 meter build. So I'll start from a 2-point stance just because I want to be up a little bit higher and not really project myself out too low and then try to have to pop up. So we'll start at a 2-point stance, build up that 15 meters, and then we're going to punch it for 30 and really try to focus on maintaining upright posture, sprinting as hard as we can, and covering 30 meters as quickly as you can. And we'll get the measurements on just the 30 meter fly. So no measurements from 0 to 15, just measurements from 15 to 45. All right, I lied. What I'm gonna do for the 30 is I got my 15 meter build, and then I'm gonna measure every 10 of this 30. So I'll get my first 10, second 10, third 10, and then I'll also get from the 15 meter mark to the 45 meter mark. So I'll get my entire 30 meter fly there. I wanna see what these sections are, because obviously it's gonna start off slower and then this 10 should be faster, but I wanna see what that progression looks like as we go through. So 15 meter build, 10, 10, 10, but we're gonna be sprinting our ass off trying to get as fast as we can here. Conservatively, I think I'm gonna be like low teens. So like 3, 12, 13, 14 on this, because I haven't done an all out 30 meter fly in a considerable amount of time. So I'm not expecting this to be blazing fast right now. All right, I was trying way too hard on that one. That was a very sloppy rep, but looking at this, I went 113 and then 103, 103. A very, 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 very sloppy rep. I could feel that I was running really, really hard, which I don't want to feel that. I want to feel like I'm loose, but putting in a high amount of effort on that. So what I'm gonna do now, take full recovery in between, try to loosen that up a little bit, open up and get into my stride, and focus a little bit more on trying to make this smooth while also being fast, and not just like bound myself up and be too stiff within this 30-meter fly. So only got 2 reps on this today, but 318 slow. That's just, that first 0 to or the first 10 was a 113, and then it went 103, 103, which is a very big discrepancy going from 113 to 103. So I think those should be slightly closer together. But the fact that I can carry 103 for 20 meters is a pretty damn good sign, and there's no big fluctuation on that. So we just got to make that first 10 a little bit smoother, a little bit faster, and then everything else should translate pretty well. All right, so 317 on that, but I honestly like the way that this looks a little bit better. So again, first rep, 318, I went 113, 103, 103. Second rep here, 317, 109, 106, 101, which is, that's kind of the ideal progression that I want to see over the course of this 30 meters. So I had planned to do 2 30-meter flies, and then I was going to do 2 40-meter sprints. I kind of want to keep doing these flies because something clicked on that one. The effort on that second repetition felt considerably easier than the effort on the first one. So I might do just 4 straight up flying 30s. I'm still doing 45-ish meters of work if we're counting that 15-meter build. So not ideal, or not exactly the same as doing a 40-meter sprint, but we're getting some distance in. I'm getting some max velocity, but that effort there with the time that I'm seeing here felt very good. So I think I'm just going to do 2 more flies and then see how that goes, because like I said, the effort on that felt considerably different. The first one, I felt like I was running as hard as I could, which is not a good feeling. The second one there felt like I was at like 80% and really just trying to flow through it all. And I was able to actually get a 101, which put me at 22 miles an hour from the last 10 here. So we'll do at least 1 more. If I see something comparable to this 109, 106, 101 again, then we'll do a 4th and see if we can't build on that. So keep it smooth, keep the flow. Let's go. All right, so flying 30s are finished and consistency was there today. Fastest rep was a 317, slowest rep was a 319, fastest mile an hour was like a 22.15, and the slowest mile an hour, if I'm looking at the same sections obviously, was like a 21.72. So pretty consistent across the board, although I believe I said I was gonna be like 313, 314 prior to doing my flying 30s, and then I ended up doing 317 to 318. So I'm either slower than I thought I was, or today was just an off day. But I feel like the low teens should be there. I should be able to knock off some of that 318 down to the low teens. Obviously, increasing the fly zone would probably decrease the overall time on those flies, but I don't want to turn a 30-meter fly into like an 80-meter sprint trying to build up 30 plus meters to do that as well. So we'll keep it at 15 for the next few weeks. Maybe we'll bump it to 20 and see if that makes a change in the next block, but we'll make that decision as we go. I also did something to my right hamstring on that 3rd repetition. So like the lateral portion of my right hamstring just got very tight on that 3rd rep. And then during the 4th rep, I could feel it throughout the entirety of the rep, but based on performance, obviously it didn't hurt me too much. It was a 319 compared to a 317, but a 200th of a second difference probably isn't a drastic change. So I'll just keep track of that over the next few weeks and make sure that the Hammy's staying healthy. I think if anything is probably just the fact that it's the first time I've been doing longer max velocity sessions. So it could just be a fatigue thing and my hamstring just got a little bit tight. Like I said, I don't feel like I pulled anything or anything got strained during that rep. I just felt it get tight. So what I'm gonna do now is some jumping variations. I didn't really have anything specific planned, but I wanna go through some hurdle hops and some broad jumps. And I had the idea of maybe putting these together. So I think what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go 3 to 4 mini hurdle, and I'm gonna essentially make these low hurdle hops, working on vertical force, trying to just bounce off the ground and from a stacked position and get over the hurdle. And then once I clear that last hurdle, I'm gonna go out for like a 3 repetition broad jump. So we're gonna go 3 to 4 mini hurdle hops into 3 to 4 consecutive broad jumps. And I'm not gonna measure this, I'm just gonna do this today to see how it feels. End a little bit, being a little bit more springy, trying to get a little bit more jump work in on my sprinting days. And then that's gonna be the end of the session. So enjoy the hops, enjoy the bounds. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.